Oh, what's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short, or Divine Starseed. This is a collective message focusing on star family messages. You guys voted on this in the community tab here on my YouTube. So make sure that you guys are keeping your eye on the community tab for if there's future votes or just any news, any updates. You can also follow me on Instagram to keep up with me there as well. Any extended messages that might possibly come out here or on future videos will be available on my Patreon along with exclusive content. I will provide that link once it is ready and available. So if you don't see it on this reading, that means that there wasn't an extended, and it also means that the Patreon isn't fully prepared yet. But do keep an eye out for it. There's a lot of exclusive juicy stuff that we will have over there. Without further ado, loves, let's get down to it. I was moved to do this as a pick a card. So you have pile 1 and pile 2. You can choose based on the numbers or look in the description and choose based on your zodiac. Remember that while all the zodiacs play in your chart, because they're important to your entire chart, you might find that your sun, moon, rising, or Venus calls out to you more. And if that's the case, then feel free to look for that. But do bear in mind that they're collective. Whichever piles you choose hold something for you. If you're moved to tap into both, then so be it. That's what you're moved to do. Before you make your decision, I recommend that you close your eyes. Inhale slowly for the count of 4. Hold the breath for the count of 4. And slowly release for that count. Pause and do that as many times as you need to until you feel grounded, and then you're prepared to make your choice. I will see you at your pile. Welcome, pile 1. Let's look into what the zodiacs are for this pile. We have Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius, Sagittarius, and Aries. So these are strong attributes of yours in your chart. You have a strong personality with these energies. But this reading is not restricted to just those zodiacs. So if you chose based on number, know that those zodiacs may play in the vibration of your message. They don't just mean people. They can also represent the energy of a place, just the cosmic energy surrounding your situations right now. So please bear that in mind whenever you're either choosing readings based on a zodiac here, or if you choose based on another number and the zodiacs appear. Okay, they're not going to always just mean people. I want you guys to be aware of that. Let's dive into your star family message. We start off with number 50, abandonment. So the number 50 could be significant here. Some of you may be 50 years old, maybe being born 1950 is significant, or the number 5. I'm also seeing 505. That could be someone's beginning in someone's number or address. That's how it's coming through here. I don't be trying to give away y'all phone numbers or addresses. I just have to be honest in what I'm saying. All right. So don't put down in the comments, yeah, my address is 505. Don't do that. But if the numbers resonate, they resonate. Okay. You can just be like, they resonate, and we'll leave it at that. The next card we have for you is common ground. And that's number 83. Also could be someone's year. The first thing standing out to me too that they're pointing is this a little bit of it's like a little bit of chaos happening. This doesn't always channel with this card for me, but there's a bit of like just a lot going on all at once, and it's like every image, every person or thing in the image is trying to find a footing, trying to find a common ground, but it's kind of a bit of a mess right now. So some of you might be feeling this way in life at the moment, that things are just kind of a bit of a mess at the moment, and there's so many opinions. It's giving kind of like 5 of Wands energy, for those of you who know how the 5 of Wands can represent a certain kind of challenge or conflict, and just everyone having a different opinion to how to handle it. Sometimes the 5 of Wands isn't about just the challenge, is the fact that everyone has an opinion to how to fix a certain problem, and because of that they're not so willing to listen to each other. They're more so talking over each other. So there's something going on with you, pile 1, where maybe you feel a bit talked over, and this could center in on this abandonment issue here. This is a wound for sure. I also feel like, though, in your case, abandonment also feels like being the outcast in general. When you were in school, you might have been the strange one. Amongst your family, you could be the black sheep of the family, or you're the person who always felt like you had to do extra things to be accepted or to fit in. Your feelings weren't always taken into account. You might not always feel at home here on earth, to be quite honest. Like, you understand this is your home, there's beautiful things here and you love it, but you might have found yourself a lot of times thinking, there's somewhere else I resonate with, somewhere other than just this plane or other than just this existence. And the truth of the matter is, we're all star beings. We all have a heritage, a lineage connected to that, whether we deem it celestial or otherwise. Our bodies are made up of everything in the cosmos. But we can at times go through so much in this human incarnation that it's easy to crave for the beyond home, the home that's further out in the ether, to want something that's more connected to source to be evident to us. It gets hard to see all of the evidence that already exists around us, and we crave for that further out feeling, as if that further out feeling would be more accepting of us than where we currently are. So a lot of you probably dealt with that before. Bullying feels significant here for some people. Let's get into your message, because we could do a whole channeling session with just those, but I want to dive right into your message here. I feel like there's an abandonment wound that you need to heal in order to come to a common ground with some type of purpose you're meant to serve. I'm also being moved to shuffle your cards in a really interesting way. I'm going to turn the camera down. And let's see what we have for you, Pile 1. For my lovely Pile 1s, what message do we have here with this abandonment and common ground? We have the 4 of Cups. I'm hearing there's not something... Let me say this right, because I feel like for some reason my speech wants to be hella weird. Maybe someone, not to be rude, but maybe sometimes when someone's nervous or you have a lot of ideas, I can resonate with this. Like, you ever get a lot of ideas that just come in at once, and when you try to talk, it's like it all tries to come out. And so your speech may come off like off or too rushed, maybe a bit ebonic. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you grow up in certain areas, you got to know how to code switch, right? But for someone, you're very self-conscious about this. Like, you don't like when your speech is off. It makes you feel more on the spot than you might be. I don't feel that people pay as much attention to that as you think they do, unless they're purposefully, you know, trying to be rude, or there's some type of weird language perfectionist. You might have had some trauma around that, like someone always correcting your speech. You didn't say that right. Pronounce it this way. For some of you, the language barrier is the cause of this. You didn't grow up speaking maybe English. You didn't grow up speaking whatever language it is that you're now having to talk so fluently. Even though people can have their opinion about that when someone is speaking English, it's actually harder for those of us who come from certain cultures where English really isn't our first language. So when you speak your language around people who are used to talking it all day and it's a little off, or your accent is different, sometimes the judgment is a lot harsher. So say you speak English more fluently than you do, you know, Cantonese, for example, then you might have relatives that sometimes look at you like, why don't you know how to speak your tongue properly? And it's made you really self-conscious. This is a safe space. You don't have to feel that way here. And honestly, it's not as big of a deal as some may have made it. Should you work on your enunciations a bit more? You can, but you shouldn't do it from a place of feeling forced because of judgment. It should just be from a place that you like being able to communicate, and you want to be able to communicate clearly. Okay? But this is a safe space, just so you know. With this 4 of Wands, instead of it being you, not 4 of Wands, Lord, 4 of Cups, instead of it being you feeling bored or you ignoring a thing, it feels like some of you are feeling ignored. Like something's trying to come out of you, something's trying to vibrate, and it's not quite coming out the way it needs to. Or when you're talking to someone, they're kind of disregarding you. And you see how his eyes are closed here? Like he's just holding the cup and he's closing his eyes. And I'm feeling like it's almost as if he wants to avoid a headache. Like, you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to be ignored right now. I don't feel like arguing. I don't feel like fighting. I'm so freaking tired. I'm just going to go a bit within myself and chill out for a minute. So this is actually feeling a little secluded. I'm not getting boredom or just dismissiveness from you. I'm more so getting, you're just kind of tired. You're out of it a bit, you know, emotionally, and you just want to take a minute to kind of meditate and regroup with yourself. There is an energy that you can sense coming towards you, or something that needs your attention, and you really want to pay attention to it, but you don't want to have to argue with maybe the people that you feel you need to communicate with in order to pay attention to that thing, whatever that thing is for you. Let's dive a bit more into it to try to make this make sense. What's this about, Spirit? What's this about, Star Fam? You can't make that up. Hermit energy. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to argue. I know there's something I'm supposed to do. I know there's something I'm supposed to focus on, but I'm just not willing to deal with people's emotions. And so this feels like people were taking some of their anger out on you for things that you have nothing to do with. Just a lot of unnecessary conflict, a lot of unnecessary trying to make you focus on things that don't make you feel good. And it's not that you're running from it per se. It's like a part of you is starting to realize that some of these people's issues are just not your issue, and you don't know why they want to drag you into it. You understand that there's other things that need to be done, whether this is in a family dynamic for some of you, or even a job. For some of you, it's like there's other things we could be focusing on. There's better projects. Why are we discussing? Why are we having talks about things that aren't getting us nowhere? And again, someone gets tongue-tied. And I'm picking up on your energy here. You get kind of tongue-tied whenever you feel either pressured or you feel like people aren't listening to you. Because, and I understand, like, you know, you try to get a point across, and when people don't listen, you find yourself kind of maybe having to repeat. It's almost like the brain glitches in a sense. And it's not that we're glitching, because I've been there too. It's not that we're glitching. It's just that others will try to take you off of the topic of what you were talking about. And if you're like me, you know how to thread anything back around to the point. Like, you know how to bring things right back to center, how something can connect when people thought that it was going to take you away from it. You can bring it home. But the freaking verbal gymnastics that can take sometimes takes its toll on you. And it just makes you feel like you're not heard. So you find yourself secluding yourself more and going within. Now, the Hermit would suggest that you're wiser than you realize you are. And that right now your spiritual journey is actually trying to peep you to the fact that you don't need acceptance as much as you think you do. From people who probably aren't as worthy of your grace as what you give them. Now, it's not saying that they didn't serve a purpose in your life. Maybe it was to serve a purpose to show you what not to be comfortable with. Maybe it was to show you, hey, if they're not giving you what you need, if you know your focus needs to be on something else and not whatever crap they got going on, redirect your focus to that other thing and stop associating them with that focus, with that purpose. Not everyone can stand by you when you live your purpose. Not everyone's going to want to, quite honestly. And there's nothing really wrong with that. That's their choice. And if it's a problem, it's their problem, not yours. I feel like some of you, if you're elevating right now, a part of you might feel as if, well, shouldn't my relative elevate with me, or shouldn't this friend, or if I'm at work and I'm doing an amazing job, shouldn't I be elevating in a position? You probably should, but should you be doing it for the people and places where you currently are? That job you're working, should you be working there? Have you thought about that sincerely? Are you trying to elevate but take the whole team with you? Because the whole team may not be able to come with you. You can be honest about people's talents. You can be honest about, what others are good at and stuff like that. But not everyone can do what you can do. And therefore, not everyone can go where you're going. At the very least, not right now. So I'm really feeling that someone here needs to stop associating their purpose with the people who are currently around them. Some of you need to stop associating your purpose with the circumstances you're currently dealing with. Not every problem is going to be, oh, I had to have this issue to learn a lesson. Sometimes the lesson is you realizing the issue and coming out of it. And the cool thing about the hermit is the hermit starts to go within and taps into their inner light. The light, in this case, for this hermit, it's a flame inside of a plant. Normally in the lantern, it's never a candle. It's a star. Sometimes it's the sun. And for you, Pal One, it feels like fire. And you're that flame. You're the flame of that star. So it feels like a shooting star and you're the flame of it. This means when you feel that you're alone, when you feel you're in the dark, when you feel misunderstood, you are the light in that darkness, and your own light is trying to lead you to the wisdom necessary to elevate out of any situation, but also be able to handle any situation. So you're not going to be in this mode for much longer. Your star family, your spirit guides are letting you know we're not going to let you just sit in solitude all day. Take this moment, collect the wisdom that you need to. Don't associate this with loneliness. Don't do this soul seeking from a place of loneliness, because that tends to lead to depression, desperation, and those are low vibrational feelings. Acknowledge if you have them so that you can start the healing process, but don't think that you have to stay in them in order to somehow have a spiritual epiphany. Your energy is going to push you a bit more out into the spotlight than you're used to. Okay, you're not going to be ignored for much longer. And we have the Knight of Cups here. You're far more sacred than you realize you are. What you have to offer to the table, sometimes you're contemplating if others will receive it, if others will be as receptive to it. And for some of you here, for a smaller group, you're a little different. You kind of fight against it a bit more, like, oh, you know, this is my cup, I don't have to share it with nobody. This is for me. Why should I care if this person blah blah blah? You got to be careful with that too. Again, you don't want to put all of your emotions on one person or dependent upon who accepts you and who don't. But you also don't want to be jaded to the point that when you're in a situation where it's time to share your gifts, when it's time to share and express your feelings and see the beauty in life, that you shell up or you go into hermit mode and lock yourself away and you don't connect with the energy and the people and the places you're supposed to. The Knight of Cups is also a dreamer, but tends to go out and venture out to try to live the dream. And a lot of times people feel like they're in la la land, just like with the Page of Cups. They'll feel like the Knight is kind of in la la land and just floating around trying to love everybody. But really, in divinity, the Knight of Cups is simply someone who understands creative flow. They just understand creative flow, and they see the beauty in situations when others may not. And it gives them the ability to communicate with almost anybody. So this is a talent that you have that some of you don't realize you have, is that you have the ability to communicate with anybody. And there's always a vibration of an energy watching over you, or also trying to look out for you. Sometimes this cloud here, which looks like a face, can come off a little bit more sinister, but in your case, it's coming off like a guardian, like a guide, like someone trying to whisper to you, hey, you're worth more than you realize. You're contemplating if this cup, let's say this cup is your love, let's say this cup is just some feelings you wish to convey, artistry even. You sometimes hold it and look at what you want to share that feeling or expression with, and start to debate if it's good enough. Is this cup half full or is it half empty? And this being's in your ear saying your cup is ever flowing. It's ever flowing. You don't have to seek the Holy Grail. You already hold it in the palm of your hand. It already exists in you as a being. You just have to allow that artistry and that beauty to flow from you. Also, as messages, the Knights here tend to already be on their way. You know, like they're not paging somebody. They're on their way to a particular person. It's an incoming that's not too far off type of vibe. And in this case with the Knight of Cups, I feel like there's a positive message already on its way to you. Somebody in particular could have some type of feeling they want to express to you. It doesn't have to be romantic, but someone wants to have a common ground with you. We'll get a little bit more into that common ground card, because we kind of touched on the abandonment here. And if you notice on this card here, the abandonment card, the character, this hair almost looks like a cloak, right? Similar to the cloak that we see the hermit wearing. We have the world. I told you. They're like, you're going to have to come out of hiding. And there's something about your artistry for sure. We have the alchemist here with temperance. But with this world card, it's not just you coming out of hiding. It's like you seeing how to merge your star self, your celestial self, more with your human self and vice versa, to the point that it's this infinity band stream of energy and connection, where when you feel lost on something, you can tap into that inner knowledge. You can tap into that star family, that celestial family, and you can seek the guidance and the clarity that you need, using your discernment to make decisions that work best for you. And see that light within yourself. Nobody should be able to make you feel like you're not good enough. It's, you know what, Pawan, it's something about you getting away from people and spaces that simply tolerate you or make you feel that way and then choose to ignore you. It kind of reminds me of high school-ish, to be honest, or like college-ish for some of you, where it's like 1 minute a group is your friend, and then the moment another certain person or whatever comes around, those people don't want to talk to you as much anymore, and as soon as that other energy leaves, they come back. And somebody here has gotten so used to that. Baby, the main friends, that's not reality. That's not how this is supposed to work. And your lesson in that was for you to start to learn and understand your value. You shouldn't be willing to hang around with people who make you feel like I can be cool with you today and done with you tomorrow, all because my new best friend came into town. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with work. Oh, I'm praising what you do and all that jazz when it's just you because you're the best at it. But when someone else comes in, I want to impress them. I'm going to wean away from you and start hanging out with that other person while still expecting you to complete that team task that we had to do. No, baby, that's not how this works. It's time for you to elevate. But you have to make this decision on your own. I and no one else can make the decision for you. There's two worlds within yourself that are trying to merge and trying to reflect. And I feel like you need to pay attention to that inner reflection as much as possible. Something's coming to a completion in your life, and your choices will help to usher that in the right way. But you're not going to be able to play this, I'm hidden in the corner, everyone's ignoring me, I'm secluded for much longer. They're letting you know, they're giving you the heads up now. You have a choice here. You can decide to prepare yourself, give yourself the pep talk that you need, start to give yourself the pampering that you need, right? All within reason. Or you can keep lollygagging around and they'll make some type of major event happens that pushes you a bit more into making those choices. Remember that the universe conspires for you, not against you. And it's always trying to help you get back on the path. But a lot of times the things that manifest in front of us, that's the energy we're radiating, that we radiate off. So if you believe that you're going to always be ignored, if you believe that something ain't good enough, if you believe that you have a purpose, but you got to do it alone and be the lone wolf and all that jazz, what's going to happen? You're going to see more and more situations try to manifest that justify that point to you. When truth be told, that ain't it. That might have been it for a time as far as like seclusion work, but you're not this abandoned soul that you sometimes feel you are, and that you've become used to playing the role of, right? And even with your speech, even when sometimes you find yourself stuttering or stumbling on words, a lot of times that could be a mix between nervous or, again, your mouth is kind of speaking the thoughts before you could word them correctly. You know what you mean even when no one else does it, and you get so judgmental of yourself about that. I've been there, plenty of others have been there, but you really get stuck in it sometimes, and they're telling you there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. If there's something you feel you could be better at, then they rather you work at it than chastise yourself about it. They rather, like for example, say you stutter. Watch a video that helps you with your stuttering. It can help you, but don't do it just because you think you're not good enough. Don't do it and you slip up a little bit and you're like, oh, I'm done. It's something about a person here needing to practice something that they normally feel they're bad at. Maybe sometimes you feel like you have to practice it in private, but they're also telling you, okay, you're going to have to sometimes practice it with other people. You're going to have to interact with the world. You don't have to be of the world, right? You don't have to be of all of its crazy, but you will have to interact with it because something about you is a healer and something within you needs to heal. And you can't do that if you're always standing still holding that cup back. Think of that cup as like your gifts that you can share and bestow with others. And then we have temperance here. Temperance is telling you to be patient with yourself. Temperance is telling you that you have an alchemic ability to transmute an energy from one thing to another, to transfigure a certain situation to show what it really is underneath all of the hoopla, right? And if we go back for a second to this common ground card, it doesn't always channel this way, but it's coming through a little chaotic. There's like a little bit of everything going on, and it sort of looks as if there's certain souls, especially this energy here, which feels like you, trying to sort of either get everyone on one accord or trying to kind of do everyone's job in a sense. Like, okay, well, everybody else is kind of crazy and effing up, so I'll just go in and I'll take over and try to fix it. And that starts to weigh on you a bit here. And then what'll happen is people will get used to you doing that. People get used to you picking up the slack. Or you kind of being quiet and distancing yourself in the corner. If they get mad or they get snappy with you, it's like you suppress yourself. And your star family is saying, you better stop it. Stop suppressing yourself. Stop carrying other people's load. There are those out there who will not abandon you, who you can find common ground with. But common ground shouldn't be at the sacrifice of your happiness, because at that point, it's not common ground. It's just a sacrifice of your happiness. You have the capability. You are an alchemist. You can transmute these energies. And again, with the zodiacs here, we have Sagittarius. There's freedom waiting for you. There's freedom in your soul expression. You have to become accustomed to it. You're an open-minded individual who should be able to explore all the things you feel open-minded to. So why are you holding yourself back? We have Aquarius, which is futuristic energy. You yourself, I don't care what age you are when you come across this content. I don't care what year you see this content. You are the future. So live like it. Be that energy. Have a better conscious awareness of who you are, so that when your mental space expands, it expands in a abundant, high vibrational way. It doesn't mean that you ignore, when something's going on around you that may not be of the best frequency, because you want to be aware of everything around you, but you know how to distribute your mental energy. You know how to distribute your vibration. We have Capricorn, and y'all know me around here. I say this is the boss energy. Okay. Boss up energy is Capricorn. And sometimes Capricorns can be overly serious. You might be taking something too serious. And it just doesn't need to be seen that way. For some of you, you might need to take yourself a little more sincerely, not necessarily serious. Some people take themselves too seriously and it can go mayhem. In your case, I feel like you need more sincerity about yourself. Okay, do things in a practical way. Work smarter, not harder, but understand that sometimes when you work smarter, when you look at the amount of stuff that you accomplish, you'll be like, wow, damn, that was a lot. I worked a lot more than I thought I did. I put more into that than I thought I did. But working smarter means temperance energy. Again, you know how to balance things. You know how to put in the right amount of effort without draining yourself. Get the results you need without being able to, without having to sacrifice enjoying the luxuries of them. Because the truth be told, when we work and we earn something, we deserve the right to enjoy those earnings. Whether for some of you, this is finances, because Capricorn has a lot to do with money. Just like Taurus can, Capricorn has a lot to do with money. So whether it's that, or whether it's something in your health, whether it's just, again, I feel like most of you are working on your mental and spiritual state right now. You want to be able to see results without feeling like you've been run through the ringer. Okay. And even then, when you think, hey, my body's kind of detoxing, don't think of yourself as sick. Just think of it as detoxing. You're getting rid of what no longer serves your body. Focus on the healing process, because someone here does need to listen to their body more. We have Libra energy, which involves balance, and it can involve love as well. A balance in love, a balance in feelings. And again, someone could also want to come to you because they want a common ground with you. They see a value in who you are and they want to share. But it's not going to just be in a romantic sense. For some of you, this is going to be genuine friendships, genuine partners in business. We have Aquarius energy. If it's one thing about Aquarius, not Aquarius, child, Aries. Why is Aquarius so loud? We have Aries energy here. And if it's one thing about Aries, they're fierce. They're very fierce. And you know what? It goes along with, even though sometimes Aquarius and Aries can like dang near take each other out, it's telling you to be fierce with your future. I am energy. Be fierce with your future. Someone might have literally like an Aquarius, Aries chart. Your chart's like that type of mashup. Let's get closer to finishing up your reading by diving into one of Midnight Oracle's decks. Get some more star family messages for you. It feels like you needed a good pep talk. A little bit of a reality check here. But with gentleness, with kindness. We have walk in, and notice how it's an astronaut. And I talked about how earlier, this group felt like people who don't always feel like they belong here. You do, you belong here, but your soul is also from somewhere else. And you're able to merge those two worlds. You can bring those two things together to create something magical. Like temperance, bringing two things together, finding your soul purpose, creating a new identity, awakening to your mission. You're walking into your purpose. Okay? No longer ignored. Merging two worlds, spiritual enlightenment, realizing the gifts that you have that you can bestow and how to, with patience, bring those gifts to light. I always tell you guys to pay attention to where the knights are focusing, and this knight is looking over the cup straight ahead. Like there's someone he's contemplating giving that cup to or sharing a glass with. That is significant for your message. And look at that. I'm trying to tell you, pile one, your purpose. Remember what we said about that fierce future, a fierce futuristic energy? Futuristic doesn't mean artificial. Yes, we have artificial intelligence. We've had that for a while, y'all. We've had that shit since the 90s. But it's not so much about that. Futuristic is simply the energy that will help to progress us forward. And in this case, it's with spiritual consciousness, right? It's being able to see how the spiritual world impacts the physical and how the physical can transcend into the spiritual. This is a part of your purpose. However that job aligns for you, for some of you, it could be doing what I'm doing right now. All right, there's enough room for everybody. For others, you might think your job is kind of insignificant, but it's actually really powerful. Some of you have been talking about making retreats for years. It's time to get on that. It's time to really get freaking serious. Stop talking about it and be about it type of energy. You are on the right path. Your mission is within and you are being guided. You're being guided by your star family, but your star family is also saying to you, hey, your inner self is a powerful being that's contributing to your lessons, that's contributing to these choices. Allow that self to fully come to the surface, because it's not so much that you have to integrate it. It's already within you. You just have to let it come to the surface more. So some of you might start looking in the mirror, and if typically you're shy, you're going to come off more bold. And if typically you're bold, you might come off not shy, but like a bit more sincere and gentle with your approach. We have the sage, wisdom from experience, having good judgment and being a mentor. You can't make it up. You can't make this up. I'm done. Spiritual presence, angelic guidance, and a gift of healing. I told you guys you were healers with that Hermit card, Virgo energy, and light worker. Okay, doing what is right is so big here, and being a beacon. Sometimes when you're a beacon, you go through some harsh stuff in the beginning, but it's to prepare you to handle whatever, whenever. All right, let's get some messages from your inner self. The inner you that's already connected, already has the wisdom, willing to share it. What does that part of you want you to know? A detour is available to you right now that can be a benefit. So again, if you're used to like dealing with everybody else's problems, abandonment wounds, and etc., they're like, hey, there's a detour so that you can get off of this pity party train, get away from these I'm just tolerating your presence mofos, and actually get in the more beneficial lane. You're on the right path as far as your soul journey. You just need your physical world to align with that more. You need your physical actions and the way that you think to align with that more balance. And for that, we have spend more time on your spiritual growth. You will be blessed with more than you could ever imagine. Ain't that the truth? How one, you're amazing. I'm hearing get one more for you. The wheel will turn in your favor. Keep going. Gotta keep going. You gotta keep going, beautiful souls. That was your message, Pawan. I pray that that resonates for you. Let's ring you out. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. Pow to baby boo, what it do? Let's get into your message. We'll start off with your zodiacs. We have Scorpio, my lovely Scorpios. We have Gemini, Leo, Virgo, what's up Virgo fam? Taurus, Cancer, and Pisces. Okay, please do understand, I explained it earlier, but in case you didn't hear it, those zodiacs are powerful to your chart for some of you, but for everyone who's watching, the energy cosmically of those zodiacs matter in your message somewhere. If necessary, we'll break down exactly where, but never just when you pick a reading either for a zodiac or you picked it for a number and those zodiacs come up, know that energetically they're going to play in your message somewhere. Don't try to typecast or scenario it. Just let it flow the way it needs to flow. Let's get into your star family messages. We have Mirror Reflection 99. Why do I feel like that's connected to this Pisces? Automatically, like there's some emotions and visions that you need to reflect on. Pal 2. The number 99 could be significant. Somebody could have been born in 99. I'm hearing I got 99 problems. Wow, I heard I got 99 problems, but a starseed ain't one. Hit me. Oh, wow. Okay, Pal 2, you're a little funny. We have returning the favor. Okay, this is what's happening in the present, and it's going to lead to things that reflect later in the future. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's go ahead on and get into your message. Now, I will say this is going to be interesting because I was moved to use the Star Wars tarot for you. So there's that, guys. Star Wars could be significant, especially like what was the robot? It's been so long since I've watched. Is it R2D2? Something about the robot could be significant. How to, what is it your star family want to say to you, babe? Y'all got some things that you're doing right now that will reflect in the future. There are some things that others have done for you that will become of use in the future because it's like a returning of the favor. Also, the number 82 is significant. Could be someone's year. Add those numbers up, take them down to a single digit. Could be your life path number. That is significant for this group. Those numbers are significant. Ciao. Not y'all starting off with the star card. And look, look who's in the sky. One of the robots is in the sky. And what is that, Jabberwocky? We have the Knight of Pentacles. So this happiness is long overdue, huh? Oh, yes it is. And it's picking up speed. I know he gets a certain rap, not the character. The Knight of Pentacles in this deck, it's this, but he gets a certain rap, right? Like, oh, he's the slow one. He can be, he's not always slow. He's just the most cautious and persistent. Like, if the Knight of Pentacles has a goal, right? He's going to focus on getting that goal done, delivering that package, getting his reward. So he's not going to stop to fight with everything and everybody. That's just going to slow him down more. He's not going to necessarily just impulsively rush into something and possibly risk losing that which he's supposed to make sure gets from point A to point B. So if his journey has to take an extra week, months, whatever, that's what he's going to do. Sometimes it might take an extra couple of years. Then that's what he's going to do to try to achieve his goal. Some of you have been working on things, or, and I'm going to say it to you this way because you need to hear it this way. Many of you in this pile, you've had certain ideas or things that you've done in life, right? And you start this new thing and something goes awry and you have to kind of like pack it up or put it to the side. And you start sort of feeling like, well, dang, every time I start something, it's so hard to bring it to completion. Some things weren't meant to fully go to completion, but you were meant to pick up the skills those different experiences gave you. It's like if you worked a job and you go, man, I worked everywhere. I was watching something and a guy was like, he worked a bit of everywhere, right? And he would only work there for a certain amount of time. And the moment he felt the itch to move, he would move. Now, automatically, everyone was associating this to like, well, he has commitment issues. But if you really paid attention to what he was saying, the vibration of each of those places he worked at, right around the time he started feeling like he had to go, he would get confirmation from some event that happened at that job, whether it was like the boss getting weird, management getting kind of funky. And every time he would leave those particular places, whatever went down, he didn't have to worry about being a part of because he had already gotten the hell out of Dodge. Not everything is people just abandoning something. Sometimes, and funny that the word abandonment was mentioned, some of you might resonate with Pile 1, but sometimes people leave things because it's just not right for them anymore. And yet, in that frame of time, he may have worked at that place, that 6 months, that year, those 3 months. He picked up a new skill. And that new skill gave him the tools necessary to start his own business. Because come to find out, he wasn't someone meant to work for nobody else. He was someone meant to run and do his own thing and have a team of his own, right? And I will say this too. We're entering a generation of people not just having businesses so they can be someone else's boss. Ooh, I get to boss someone else around. But building community within the workplace where people feel valued. They feel understood. They're respected in their position. No one's trying to hold somebody to one position, or, only because, so-and-so's the favorite, so they get to elevate. No, it's like everybody gets to elevate. Everyone gets to move on to bigger and better because there's so much space in this freaking world that there's no need to try to tie somebody to one description, one job, one location. And if someone is happy to forever work in a certain position, fine. We value them and we respect them. That's the world that we're entering, and that's why you see all this conflict and war and etc. Because there are some who want to stick to the old way. There's the boss that rules over you like an overlord and tells you what to do and you just have to obey. And then there's the one who says, hey, I really value you here. I really value your opinion, your input, the love that you put into what you do. And because of that, I want to properly reward you for what you do. I want to see you elevate and maybe one day own your own company because, hey, I mean, it ain't like people ain't making more humans, right? Like eventually somebody gonna come in and be able to fill this position when you elevate up. And your elevation gives attention to us as well because this is where you started. So you learned something from here. That's the era that we're entering. It's very important because this is the knight who can have those kind of goals and seek that kind of, adventure and treasure. Believe it or not, he's one of the most adventurous knights. The Knight of Pentacles focuses on treasure. He's like Indiana Jones because instead of it just being for like the thrill, there's something he's seeking, like that diamond hidden in a temple that nobody wants to enter because it's booby trapped. You know what I'm saying? He's the person who would take his time to enter, and that's why sometimes he gets a little lost on the journey. He gets a little distracted and he can become the procrastinator. So sometimes the Knight of Pentacles is slow because of procrastination. Be mindful that you're not procrastinating on something that you really need to get a move on. But no worries, my love, because we got the Chariot here. And the number 7 could be significant for a lot of you. And with the Chariot energy, your star family is saying, expect momentum to pick up. If you thought this was just going to be, I'm easy like Sunday morning. No. That's what I heard. Someone likes that song. 'Cause I'm easy like Sunday morning. Yeah, this isn't going to just be like a slow car ride, you know, through like the countryside or something. Just on cruise control. Cruise with me. No, that's not what this is. You're about to start going real quick. Taking off like a freaking battleship at this point. But it's okay, because it's all towards this illuminated state. You've made a field. You've planted the right things in that field, and it's time to see where they take you. So for some of you, this could be travel. Quite literally could be travel. For others, it's like you've been working on something, and this is the one thing that you didn't easily get distracted from, or you didn't feel like switching too quickly, and they're like, okay, now all them skills gonna come in handy as this movement picks up. You're about to be triumphant and victorious over something major. Okay, again, the favors reflecting in the future. Child, you can't make that up. We got the 9 of Pentacles. He looks hella creepy, but we're gonna go with it. They look hella creepy, we're gonna go with it. It's the 9 of Pentacles here, my loves. This is you'll eventually have a team, but at the moment a lot of this elevation seems solo dolo. Like there's something about this singular energy that's really significant. This 9, and we already have 99 here, and 9s can be single vibration. One's individual empowerment is very important. There's like a skill that only you can do that jump starts everything off, and then you're able to build like a team around that skill, because you're not meant to have to do every little component or compartment of this yourself. Like you want to be able to designate certain tasks to trustworthy energies. You're being very selective with who you let into your garden. There's a time of leisure coming up, a time to relax in the sun. Somebody could literally be taking a trip in like June or July to somewhere sunny with a lot of vibration. I just heard something really strange, but I have to say it because I heard it. Be mindful of trickery energy. I'm gonna say this respectfully, because not all things occult are like twisted per se, but for some reason someone's being warned to not fall for like a cult, like a bad one. So you know how sometimes people will go to other countries and somebody will just run up on them and be like, oh, well, do you want to come to this ceremony about blah, 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 blah? And you don't know what the hell that's about. And then somebody goes and it's like, what the fuck was this shit? You know what I mean? It was like something really just, nah, this ain't for me. There's an energy that might be around you right now that's trying to help you with abundance. And it's coming off creepy to you. And it's not creepy from a judgmental place, because considering what you're watching right now, and considering that these are star family messages, you can't afford to find too many things just weird for weird's sake. But this is coming off as like eerie somehow. Almost like the people are too cheesy or something. It's like I'm seeing people like hold a pamphlet before somebody and they're like, don't you want to join? Like they're in some weird Sunnydale episode and you're just... something's telling you, maybe a person you know is already a part of whatever it is. And that's kind of like how they're trying to get you, is to get you through somebody you know. Listen to your guys when they tell you to swerve real quick. Detour real quick. Again, I don't know who that's for, but someone had to hear it. This isn't about being judgmental. This isn't about you finding some group or some culture or religion that you thought you didn't like and then all of a sudden going, see, I knew. This ain't about that. This is literally about a person just approaching you in a hella creepy ass way, but oddly nice, and is throwing you off. Maybe they're coming through a friend. It has something to do with abundance. Could be like a pyramid scheme for all we know. It's kind of like they're playing that video in my head of there was like some type of a cult in Korea that was collecting wives or something like that. Like they would get women to go to an event and then somehow it would turn into some type of marriage thing. I don't remember all the details of it right now, but I'm seeing a video of it playing over and over again, where these two ladies kept approaching random foreign women on the street or random women and acting like it was one thing. And then when you go, it's a whole nother thing, and they're trying to like groom you to be wedded off or something like that. But in your case, it's involving money. It's something with money, or maybe partnering you with people with money or something. And no, you're meant to, not that you can't have, you know, a love that has the cha-ching, bling, bling, but you're meant to generate your own wealth. Don't let somebody come in and start to try to stifle that luck from you. I don't know who that's for, babe, but you got to watch out for whoever they are. You see who that is? Like, you know what I mean? Like, these could be people trying to play on your kindness, or trying to play on maybe some type of trauma that you went through in the past. It's coming out so strange. I'm being as respectful with it as I can. Someone could be from Korea. 안녕하세요. Someone could be from Korea, because Korea feels significant here. Maybe some of you are traveling from Korea to the US. Don't get it twisted, because they be acting like all that stuff is just overseas, right? Like, oh, you go overseas, you might end up kidnapped or in a call. Bro, that stuff be happening in the US. Okay? If something feels strange to you, no matter where you are, and your intuition in alignment with your instinct is saying, hey, I don't like the vibes here, get the hell out of Dodge. Why are you questioning your instincts and your intuition so hard? It doesn't have to be out of judgment. It don't have to be out of no petty bull crap. You're just listening and taking the right precautions. It don't even have to be out of fear. Somebody needed to hear that, because I mean, there are people in my collective sometimes that I pick up on that need to hear things like that, because y'all be so quick to say, I don't want to be scared. Somebody says, be caution. Well, you know, I will, but I don't want to move in fear. Since when is moving in caution moving in fear? You got to ask yourself, what has happened to you in life that you take caution as only meaning fear? Like, if we're walking down the side of a cliff, and you might have taken this walk a gazillion times, would you not be cautious when you know that there's no railing? One wrong step, you're gonna bust your ass. You be cautious, right? But you're not being cautious, shaking in your boots, moving down the stairs, because you know that's just gonna make you fall. It's just gonna make you fall quicker. If you feel you shouldn't walk down that dark alley, don't walk down that dark alley. It's really that simple, people. Sometimes the Knight of Pentacles does what? He'll take the long way around. If he has to, if it's going to avoid unnecessary conflict, he'll have to. So it's the same thing when dealing with people who might be giving you creeper vibes right now. Okay. Ooh. Again, some of you may have wanted to watch Pile 1. Pile 1 came off a bit deeper, but some of you may want to watch that. But in this case, it feels a little similar to Pile 1. Some of you might have felt like, I'm getting a different vibe here though. Like you felt ignored, but in your case, it actually feels like you thought you were ignored by the divine for a second. Like you were praying for something or wishing for a thing to take place, and it wasn't happening fast enough. So you became this stubborn person who was like, well, if it's not happening and I'm not going to do blah, blah, blah. You know how kids be when somebody don't want to give them something, they go, well, you don't want to give me that toy, I ain't going to do my homework, or something weird like that. For those of you who were lucky enough to be in a house where you could play that game, I don't know who you are, but you know, kudos to you for tempting fate that way. But it feels kind of like someone's being like a badass kid, kind of. There's something you're supposed to do and you feel like you didn't get your prayer fast enough, you didn't get the result you wanted fast enough, so now you're just being stubborn. I'm gonna just sit here. Okay, well now that you've done that, you're feeling a bit ignored, and they're like, aren't you gonna shoot your shot? Aren't you gonna you're not gonna shoot your shot? Okay, well, if you want to be stubborn, we can be stubborn too. It's like you're playing a weird game with some of your guides right now. I don't know why it's channeling that way, honey, but that's how it's channeling. I'm also hearing, again, there's something about being cautious of that energy that wants to kind of tap into your abundance here. That might have been the reason why a certain prayer, it's not that it wasn't being answered. They had something better lined up for you, and maybe the way that you wanted it to come, the way that you were going to go about it was going to put you around people you didn't need to be around. Did you think about that? Somebody's star family is like, and notice here we have the same group. So some of you may resonate with this group because we got the same group here. As you research these beings, you will find older names than this for them. These are more updated terms for a lot of these beings. But Somebody has, you hear your guy, like you, whatever star being you talk to, you can hear them, and you know they talk to you like that. Did you ever think about that? Did you think about the fact that maybe this wasn't for you? Maybe we were protecting you from quite literally shooting yourself. Most people shoot themselves in the foot. This dude about to get shot in the arm. Like, oh, they could have avoided you from getting some type of shot. We're not even going to go into the details with what that could be, but they could have been avoiding you, like getting some type of needle or procedure because it was risky. Follow your intuition, listen to your discernment. And you might have been like, but I really wanted that, or I needed it so I could go here or something like that. So this could have had something to do with like 2021, 2022. Maybe there was somewhere you wanted to go and you couldn't get a shot, so they were like, well, we did that for a reason. We were protecting you. You didn't need that. You need to stay your behind in the house or something like that, because we were keeping you safe from something else that was trying to tap into your abundance, trying to sneak up in your garden. Goodness gracious. Lordy, Miss Claudie. Yeah. And now it's time for you to start moving. And not everyone needs to know your moves. Not everyone has to know all the details. Not everyone can go with you. So if you're feeling like there's certain energies also ignoring you at this time for you, pal, too, that's supposed to happen, because some of the energies ignoring you are showing you their true colors. I don't know why this is coming through. If this happened to somebody here, I'm sending you hugs because it's effed up. But there was a couple of years ago, a TikTok where a girl booked an Airbnb, right? And she did this like months in advance. She planned this trip. I think it was for her birthday or something. She invited some of her so-called closest friends, and they didn't show up. Now, I don't know if it was like a skit or whatever. I didn't channel it, didn't look into it. But I remember it popped up like on TikTok or something. And it feels like there's something similar happening to someone here. It's not a birthday party maybe, but perhaps you were trying to plan a trip that couldn't happen before, and you invited like the same people. And as it gets closer and closer to the day, it's like everyone has an excuse. They're like, because they're not supposed to go with you. You're supposed to take what you need to take and go do your own thing. Or maybe you're meant to cancel that, since they want to procrastinate and drag their feet. Cancel that and go spend your coin doing something more fun or going somewhere else. Because for some of you, you might have booked a trip to go where everybody else wanted to go and not where you needed to go. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you want to go to Bangkok or something like that, and they trying to go to, I don't know, Mexico. I don't know why those two places came out for somebody here. Whatever the case may be, you don't have to follow the crowd, nor do you have to cater to the crowd. Sometimes the Seven of Swords is the person is trying to take the swords away to keep a battle from happening the next day. Sometimes this person is taking what's rightfully theirs on top of that. Like, I'm taking what belongs to me, and I don't have to justify to you why I took it. Like, I'm keeping my gifts and my rewards that belong to me, the luxuries that I accumulated, and I'm going off on my own with them. And I don't know why y'all think y'all have the right to come down on me about it. That could also be what this is, and that's why they're like, shh, be stealth. You don't have to necessarily be sneaky. I'm hearing no sneaky links. Ooh. No sneaky links. We ain't gonna tap into that. We're gonna leave that where it is. Lord, Paltu, you got a lot going on. Anything else, Spirit, before we move on into your other cards? We have the Moon. Learning how to be balanced with your instincts and your intuition is very key here. Learning how to be more liberated and more free in what you do. Again, we have mirror reflection, and the moon reflects on the water. What's trying to reflect back to you, and use your intuition and discernment to make sure that it's authentic, because there are favors being returned to you at this time. What you put out, you are cycling and getting back in. You have a powerful role to play, and as I say that, we pull the Empress card. You're birthing something new here. Some of you could be on the lines to be mothers. That's not for everyone, but for those of you, that's why they said no sneaky links, because they're like, hey, that may come with more than you thought it would. Don't play that game. Don't sell yourself short like that. Ain't about judgment. It's just honesty here. Someone's birthing some new magic here. Some of you are birthing it in the form of the actual little spirit baby. Funny, because this readings, star family readings, was going head to head with spirit baby readings, and you just barely beat spirit babies. So yeah, there's some mommies to be, daddies to be watching this right now. Choose your partners wisely. That's what I'm hearing. But know that there's something really magical also just from an internal position that you're creating and bringing into the physical world. Interesting. Something it's like a merging of two worlds, huh? Depending on if you came here from Pile 1, you might know what that was in reference to. But yeah, there's something truly magical coming from you, and they want you to be confident and make sure that you're prepared to nourish this. This is also Venus energy. The moon next to Venus is very significant. Remember we said Pisces earlier too, so there's something about like dreamscape. Oh, we have violet flame. Look at you, Pile 2. Okay, Pile 2. Okay. That's why you attracting so much, because you got this violet flame energy. You're cleansing your spirit, but that also means that you're a cleansing essence. So yeah, there's a lot of sometimes little creepers that want to try and come in there and kind of murk things up and suck off of that energy. And no. You've got to like keep raising your vibration, keep raising your frequency, and you'll find that those mofos can't even like get close to you. Okay, dissolving blocks and barriers that were in your way so that you can go further. Like I said, somebody's about to take off, travel. We have awareness. I just talked about this, right? It's important to be aware, and in some cases you might find that your caution skills kick in. It doesn't have to be from fear. It's just from being smart. Sharpening your perception. Be present in the moment. Look before you leap. Look. I'm gonna bring it in. Look before you leap. Okay. We have light codes. Look at you with your spiritual wisdom. Some of you probably you might be moved to start reading light codes and crystals. That I'll be doing on my Patreon more. There's other things that I do. I just don't do them all on my channel. But I will provide them, as you know, also like when doing like some group chats with y'all, I'll provide them in those other readings. Yeah, but you might feel moved to start reading light codes and crystals. You might see flashing lights before your eyes, and I'm not talking about an eye condition, just to be clear, but when you see flashes, you'll see like shapes. Grab a paper and start writing down what those shapes are. Those are like your personal sigils, your personal symbols. Okay, we could talk about that more on the Patreon, but divine downloads are coming through here, and it's helping you when it comes to being able to establish a higher consciousness, okay, to elevate your consciousness. Look at that, seeing the future, trusting your gut and inner knowing. And that goes back to the message that came through with that Nine of Pentacles. Also trusting your gut when it comes to the rewards that you're meant to receive. And we have beacon, leading by example, shining your light and new opportunities. Let's close this off by getting some messages from your higher self, your own inner star that wants to come to the surface and be a part of your everyday conscious awareness and thought. For Pile 2, what do we have here with this mirror reflection, returning the favors, highly favored energy? Something fell on the floor. I'll get it in a moment. We have, you're exactly where you need to be, you little unicorn. Whose guide talks like this? Your guide is funny. They're very funny. Balance all dimensions of your life, because you are a multi-dimensional person, and it is important to balance those dimensions. Hold on, guys, I gotta get this card off the floor. Ooh, learn how to honor and treat your body well. Okay, learn how to honor and treat your body well. We push for progress. We don't push to break. Push to see progress and growth in your body, but not to break your bones and tear your body down. And then in the next, few years, you're like, why can't I move and operate properly? I would recommend that you guys look into, there's different techniques. If you're going to do yoga, do not just practice something that people do in like a Pilates class. Start off with getting into deep meditations. That'll help you, because when you do those movements are also meditative. Okay. If you do Tai Chi and you're working on into flow, graduate into dance. It don't matter how you look. Graduate into dance, and also look into working with your fascia, Okay, you can check like this is not sponsored. You can check like Human Garage, so that you can learn how to unwind yourself and learn how those same techniques also show up in some of the other ancient techniques. And if you're somebody who already practices a thing, learning that mechanism and how to incorporate it into that would help you tremendously. Because the things you're about to do, your body needs to be ready. Trust, as a person who channels and always channels since a little girl, it can weigh on you. So make sure you're taking care of the body. That's a lesson for all of us here in this collective, okay? If you need to break the rules, do it with conviction to make a difference, you little unicorn. I find that hilarious. Don't fear a blank canvas. Use it to turn your life into a masterpiece. I was going to say it again. I caught myself. Give me credit, because I caught myself. But this feels like the Empress energy, that new thing that you're creating. It's going to, tear down a lot of different barriers and walls, especially walls that people are trying to build right now. So some of you might be feeling very active in the energy that you contribute to the world at this point. And remember, whatever that thing was that you prayed for that didn't take off last time, it's not that something wasn't in the works. It was that something better was in the works, and you didn't need to go to that place or get that shot and all that jazz. For whoever that's for, you know who you are. Pao2, that is your message. I pray it resonated for you. Let's ring you out. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. Until next time, be sure to subscribe. If you enjoy the vibe around here, be sure to subscribe, and of course, check out my Oracle decks. See you next time.